When you think of heavy metal, countries like the United States, the UK, and even Sweden might come to mind. But what about South Africa? The country may not be the first place you associate with metal, but it has a rich underground scene that's been growing for decades. In this video, we'll take you through the history of metal music in South Africa, from its humble beginnings to its current global recognition. The roots of South African metal were planted in the 1980s, in the heart of apartheid. During this time, access to Western music was limited, but that didn't stop metal from finding its way into the country. Fans discovered bands like Iron Maiden and Slayer through imported records, bootleg tapes, and underground radio broadcasts. One of the first local bands to rise from this underground movement was Voice of Destruction, a thrash metal band from Cape Town. Formed in 1986, they became pioneers in the South African metal scene and set the stage for what was to come. By the 1990s, apartheid had ended and South Africa began opening up to the world. This new era brought with it a boom in thrash and death metal. As international music flooded into the country, local bands emerged, creating a sound all their own. One of the standout acts from this era was Groinchurn, a grindcore band that broke through internationally. They toured Europe and the US, spreading South African metal to global audiences. Death metal band Debauchery also played a key role in shaping the local underground scene. The 2000s saw the South African metal scene grow even further. With the launch of festivals like Ramfest in 2007, metalheads finally had larger venues to come together and celebrate their love for the genre. International bands began visiting the country, and local bands gained more visibility. Cape Town's Mind Assault and Pretoria's Sacrifist became staples of the local metal scene during this period, playing melodic death metal and experimenting with new sounds. By the 2010s, the South African metal scene had earned a place on the global map. International acts began regularly touring the country, and more South African bands played on international stages. Cape Town's Wilderness King gained recognition for their atmospheric black metal, while Zombies Ate My Girlfriend represented South Africa at the Wacken Open Air Festival in Germany in 2016, one of the most prestigious metal events in the world. Today, the South African metal scene continues to evolve. Despite challenges like limited venues and a relatively small audience, the passion of the fans and musicians is stronger than ever. Festivals like Witchfest and Metal for Africa keep the community alive, while online platforms help local bands reach a global audience. From black metal to progressive metal, South African bands are pushing boundaries and exploring new subgenres, proving that metal in South Africa is here to stay. As we've seen, South Africa's metal scene has a long and evolving history. It may not be the biggest, but it's full of passion and energy. From its underground roots in the 1980s to its growing international recognition today, South African metal is making its mark on the global stage. What does the future hold for metal in South Africa? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure. This scene is here to stay, and it will continue to grow, evolve, and inspire. What's your favorite South African metal band? Let us know in the comments below.